Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Got the yellow on today. All right. So we're going to go to gold first. The derivative markets are having a lot of fun today in their Ponzi schemes. Let's take a look. A lot of early ball games we'll get into. 2 o'clock. All right, gold is at 23.03 and silver 28.95, down 61 cents. All this means is they did put down derivatives on silver for sure. Gold, they did a derivative 23.20 down to 23.06. They bought it. It went up to 20.23. Went down to 23.06, went up to 23.17, and they did a big one down to 22.97. So you can tell the big derivative. So they're buying at 22.97, seems to be the bottom, and then it's now back to 23.03. Again, strictly derivative selling. This has nothing to do with, this is Eddie Murphy. I'm selling and then I'm going to buy. That's all this is. So it's a bunch of bullshit, but that's what BRICS is going to come in, and hopefully we'll get a real gold price. This is not real. This is just bullshit. And, for us to have to look at comex to determine the physical price of gold and silver is absolutely ridiculous. I don't see how it comes close to doing that. And how there isn't a real gold price, we don't know. It's just price fixed, JP Morgan at its finest, but they shouldn't be doing it. All right. So we know there's nothing we can do, but we know it's going way up. So we're not going to, there's nothing we can do. The price goes down, but it's because of the derivative, which I think is ending very soon. So hopefully we get away from this crap. And let's go to baseball. So let's look at yesterday's. I think I had a fairly good day, although I don't know how it ended. All right, so we had Houston under 7.5, we lost. We had Oakland under 8, we lost. So it's weird how some days you get overs and some days you get unders. We had Baltimore over 9. They win, but not 9. Then Washington wins. Then the Cubs win. Philly loses under 8.5. Cleveland under 8 wins. St. Louis under 8 wins. The Yankees over 10 win. Seattle over 7.5 loses. And Arizona over 8.5 wins. So the bets were Baltimore over 9 loses, the Cubs win. The Phillies under 8.5 loses, Cleveland under 8 wins. So we're even. And then Seattle over 7 loses, Arizona over 8.5 wins. So we basically lose like 3 units. NBA, Dallas, if that game wasn't fixed, I don't know what was. Luca Brasi didn't even look like the same player. Terrible roughing. He's trying to take charges. He can't cover players all of a sudden. Funny how he covered players in the OKC series and the Minnesota series, and now he can't cover the guys on Boston. I'd have to call that game fixed yesterday. Without a doubt, the refs, terrible calls. It reminded me of the Gambler movie where the student, missing layups and letting the ball get stolen and stupid passes. And like I said, you'd have been better off just saying, cover the 8. That would have been a lot easier for the guy to fix the game just by playing his game that they couldn't cover. It's funny how they always say, well, you can win, but not by the total. They never go, win by more than the total. It's probably easier to control if you got a mismatch like they had. So Luka, pathetic, clearly a fixed game. And, usually you get them, but they're not that dramatic. They're not that easy to figure out as you got yesterday. But that's what you're dealing with. Okay, 6-13. Atlanta 4, Baltimore 3, 8th inning. Detroit 7, Washington 2, Kansas City 2, the Yanks nothing. St. Louis 3, Pittsburgh nothing. They've been playing. St. Louis 1 under, and St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis was under the first. So these guys play low-scoring games. It's 3-0 now. Nothing's completed. So we got the night games today. So let's take a look at them. Then we'll take a look at how we would have played today's games. The Cubs at Tampa. The Cubs minus 115, 7.5. Justin Steele 0-3 with the 3.65 against Taj Bradley 1-4 with the 5.17. The Cubs won. The Cubs have won the first 2. Justin Steele 0-3. The Ty Bradley, we can't bet him. I'd say we go over with the Cubbies. Over 7.5, but we'll see. Philly, Boston. Oh, they played last weekend. Aaron Nola 8-2 at the 2.77. It's Tanner Hook 6-5 with a 1.91. This is going to be our 10-star. Philly under 8.5. We'll go 10 units on it. 2.77 against a 1.91. There shouldn't be a lot of scoring. See, this is what's been getting me. When these guys play the Yankees are still hitting them, which is kind of unusual. You'd think they'd get shut out. They even hit Verlander. So the Yankees, I can't play them under anymore. It's got to be over. And yet, ironically, the Yankees are 2-0 to Kansas City in the 6th. Wow. Okay, as I get those words out of my mouth. Miami and the Mets, these have been low-scoring games. Mets are 200, minus 200, 8.5. We got Roddery Munoz, 1-2 with the 5.95. Luis Severno, 4-2 with the 3.25. And I can't bet it over because Miami can't score. The Mets are laying 2. I got a pretty good pitcher. Yeah, let's go with the Mets, but I'm not going to bet it. I don't like the line at 200. Oakland, Minnesota. Mini is minus 250, over under 8. Luis Medina, 0-1 with the 5.23. Joe Ryan, 4-5 with the 3.30. I don't know. When we go over Oakland, Minnesota. I haven't been playing this series, it looks like. Oh, Oakland under 8, I lost. So, yeah, they've been scoring. I'm going to go over 8 here. Oakland over 8. I'm not going to play it. I mean, they're okay. They're nothing to play. Chicago, Seattle. We had Seattle over 7. It didn't go there. It was one of these 2 week pitchers. All you got to do is get to 7.5. They couldn't do it, and I made it a 3 unit game as I should have. Chicago, Seattle. Garrett Crockett 6-5 with a 3.33 against Luis Castillo 5-7 with the 3.35. Look at this. The over under is 6.5. Holy Christ. I looked at the box score. I don't know which game it was. They had like 4 hitters hitting under 200. I think the White Sox, Seattle. I mean, they're just pathetic. 222 Seattle, and the White Sox are 217. That's why you got the 6.5. Where are you going to get the runs from? Hey, Gregor John. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, how do you have a 6.5 with these pitchers? 3.5, 3.3. I'm going to leave this game alone. California and Arizona. I did hit this one over yesterday, and I hit it over the day before. So Griffin Canning 2-6 with the 4.65. Brandon Fat 2-5. He like pitches every day. 2-5 with the 4.60. So we're going to go over again. Arizona over. And it's 8.5, and we'll go 5 units on that. And Dallas against the Rams. The Rams are $2 favorites over under 9. Michael Lorenzen for Dallas 3-3 with the 3.05. Michael Grove 4-2 with the 4.72, and the Dodgers are this strong of a favorite. Let's take a look at Michael Grove. He's a bullpenner. Don't know what to do with the bullpen guys. So I can't. It's amazing. He's 4-2 as a bullpen guy, which is surprising. You would think he's a starter. I'm done gambling with baseball. Bobby comes back with football. Okay. Michael Lorenzo 3-3 at the 3.05. Michael Grove again. So Grove's a bullpen guy. Over under 9. I didn't play him yesterday. Yeah. I don't know what to do with this one either. Dodgers should win. Well, let's look at this. Lorenzen 3-3 with the 3.05. Yeah, he just had one bad game against Oakland. He gave up 6 runs, and one against Cincy, he gave up 5. And then the last 5 has been 0-2, 1, 0-2. So he's pitching much better. Yeah, I'm going to take Texas against the bullpen guy. I'm not going to bet him. So I got 2 bets. Philly under 8.5, 10 units. Arizona over 8.5, 5 units. Now let's go back. And Atlanta 4-3 against Baltimore. How do we play it? Well, let's look at what the starting pitchers are. R. Lopez for Atlanta. 169. He pitched a 2-hit shutout for 6 innings. Then their bullpen comes in a 4 and a 3. The 4 guy gives up 2 hits and 3 runs, which is what gets me. Is Lopez pitches 91 pitches. Why do you take him out after 6 innings? Going through the lineup the 3rd time, like these guys don't know how to pitch. So you bring in a 4.03 guy that gives up 2 hits, 3 runs, a home run, probably a 3-run homer, and a walk. Now you got the 3-0 guy in there. Atlanta's now 5-3. Cole Irvin, 3.03 ERA. So this one would have been an under. Cole Irvin 3.03 and 169 for Lopez. So I would have went under. And what is they give you like the 9. So I would have went under 9. with Atlanta, Baltimore, and they're 5-3 in the they're in the top of the ninth now. So we're pretty close. And let's go to Washington, Detroit, our favorite team, Detroit. Wow. Let's see. Corbin, 5.84 ERA for Washington against Casey Mize with the 4. We would have went over, and the over-under is 9.5. Yeah, typical Tigers. So it's 9.5. We're over 9, and it's we're over 9.5. It's 9 in the bottom of the 8th. I love it, but I would have played it over. I don't think I would have played Casey Mize to win. I can't trust him. I don't even know if he's the winning pitcher. They were up 2-1 in the 6th, so it's hard to say. Yeah, the Tigers scored 5 runs in the 7th. Let's see which shitty pitcher gave that up. D-Law. So Corbin's out there, 584, 4 hitting, 1 run. Then you bring in the 348 and the 524 and a 429 and a 794. Oh, this is a terrible bullpen, Washington's. And what does it say? And it looks like it's a 387 bullpen, but it looks worse than that. Casey Mize, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 4.43, and then you got a 380 and a 379. Stu Miller and some Holton guy. So we need one more run. We're in the 9th inning, and the Tigers won't bat in the bottom of the 9th. So we need Washington to score 1 run for our over. So it's pretty ironic how it kind of works out, right? 2 bad pitchers, 2 bad ERAs, and you get 9 runs. Kansas City and New York. What is going on here? KC 2-0. Who the hell's pitching here? Nestor Cortez, 3.63 ERA. He's pitched a 5-hitter in 6 innings. A. Marsh, 3.68 ERA. I never would have played this game under. 2 threes. The pre-odds was 10.5. I don't think I would have played over 10.5. I certainly wouldn't have played under. And I probably would have played the Yankees, but who knows? So we'll see. 2-0 Kansas City in the top of the 7th. Pitt and St. Louis. Oh, Pitt came back and got 3 runs in the 5th. Probably pulled their pitcher. Pitt, Mitch Keller, 3.31 ERA, 4 2/3, gives up 6 hits, 3 runs. Not too bad. Lance Lynn starts for them with a 3.75, gives up 4 hits and 3 runs in the 4 1/3 innings in 82 pitches. I don't know why you're taking him out. And then here comes Jimmy King. The 1.61's got a 1-hitter, and they're going to the 5th inning. So 3.75, a 3.31. I probably would have played this game under, and it looks like it's over under 8.5, and I'm at 6 right now. So probably this is the problem. They don't score, and they finally do. All right, that's what we got. So we got the Cubs over 7.5, Philly under 8.5, the Mets, Oakland over 8, Arizona over 8.5, and Texas. Philly under 8.5, 10 units. Arizona over 8.5, 5 units. And we got Greg John's insights. Jeez, I don't know. The Celtics are up 3-0. They're going for the sweep. Well, yeah. I'm done gambling with baseball. I didn't know you were betting baseball. I didn't think you had any money, Greg John. See, so when you have no money to buy gold and silver, but you have money to bet baseball, that's a problem there. Dodgers are playing good ball lately. Who knows? I mean, it's all pitching. So Greg doesn't really add anything to the class today. Just vampiring. All right. So we've got Gray's Sports Almanac, as I told you the other day. So we're going to go through the Big 12 and the Big 10 if you like. If you don't like, give me conferences you want to go through. But I thought I'd start with these two because they're so big now. The Big 12 has now got 16 teams. They're all over the place. Predicted order of finish. So you got Utah, Kansas State, Oak State, Kansas, Arizona, West Virginia, Iowa State, TCU, T-Tech, UCF, Colorado, Baylor, Arizona State, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston. They're all over the place. What the hell? What kind of conference is that? The best player in the conference is Ollie Gordon from Oak State, the running back. This guy's like Jim Brown. And then you have Cuthie, the tight end from Utah back. And, of course, Cam Rising, who is the best quarterback, not Jalen Daniels. Whoever did this, you got they're like the gold guys. They're clueless. Jalen Daniels has been hurt most of the time. He's not that good. I like Bean was much better. And then we have, so here's they're all Big 12 first team. Jalen Daniels, I wouldn't make it. Cam Rising. Ollie Gordon, Oak State running back. Ty Brooks, Texas Tech running back. Travis Hunter from Colorado. I'm surprised Prime Jr. wasn't their first team all quarterback. Arizona. Now, Arizona's got a very good quarterback. The coach went on to Oregon State, but the quarterback stayed apparently. McMillan from Arizona, running back. Hudson, UCF, and Presley, Oak State. Oak State looks like they're going to be dominant. They've got a good quarterback, great running back, good receiver, and a center and an O lineman. So there's 4 Oak State guys in the all Big 12 offensive team. The question is, what do they got defensively? Defensively, they got 2 here, 2 linebackers from Oak State. You got Cincinnati with the DL, BYU, Utah should probably have 3 or 4 guys. They got 2. They got a D lineman and a linebacker. And then we go to the second team. They're only going to give us the first team. only one team. Let's see. So you got a new coach at Arizona. You got a new coach at Arizona State. You got a new coach at Baylor. You got a new coach at Cincinnati. Well, no, you got a defensive coach. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Arizona's got the new head coach with a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Arizona. So let's hope the Arizona quarterback doesn't get fucked like the others did. Arizona State, new offensive coordinator. Baylor, new offensive coordinator. Cincinnati, new defensive coordinator, which is surprising. Actually, Nate Fagua was there before. I don't know why they need 2 defensive coordinators. Is that the new thing now? We'll have 2 defensive coordinators. Colorado, new offense and new defensive coordinator. Can't blame it on prime time. It's the coordinators suck. Houston, a new head coach, Willie Fritz, which I really like, although Dana Holgerson wasn't bad. New offense and defense, which goes along with the new coach. Iowa State, new offensive coordinator, which makes sense because they never score. Kansas, offense, new coach, and defense. Kansas State, offense, new coach. TCU, defense, new coach, and UCF, offense, new coach. Defense, new coach. Now you try to pick football, getting all these new coaches in there, making the green like Mean Joe Green. Sounds like a great season, TK. Enjoy it, TK. Okay, thank you, Greg and John. So This is the hard part, is getting the variables for college football with all these new coordinators, right? Now, most of them are probably going to run the same shit. You get USC with the Oklahoma coach, right? You've got Washington with a different offense. Oregon runs a good offense. So we'll have to see what these guys are doing. It takes 3 or 4 games. They're not new, but it's other things to factor in. But we don't know half these guys anyway. Iowa State offense new Taylor Mouser, old Nathan Scott. I couldn't tell you either one, so I don't know. It's getting better or worse. As long as the head coach is there, we'll have a good idea. And let's see. Ollie Gordon had 285 attempts, 1,732 yards, 6.1 average. Guy's great. 21 touchdowns, 75 longest, and average is only 123 a game. This guy, I don't know why he didn't go pro. So we go in Arizona, same quarterback, Noah Fajita, very strong. Arizona State, new quarterback, Sam Levitt is a freshman. Trenton Boquette, him I've heard of as a senior, but he's not very good. So, again, if we've got a freshman quarterback, you can't look at his high school and go, oh, yeah, he did this in high school. Don't really give a shit. This isn't high school. So, excuse me. So we'll have to see. Again, you got to give them 3-4 weeks. You check the box scores and you check who they played. Arizona State starts off with Wyoming, Old Mississippi State, Texas Tech. So you get some pretty good teams that you can judge. If he goes off and goes in 12 touchdowns and 1 pick, he's pretty good against these defenses. Like last year, it was Southern Utah, Oak State, Fresno State, USC. So it's hard to get a good grasp on it. God, they got Fresno State beat them 29-0. And Fresno State comes to the big house. I'm rooting for Fresno State there. All right, Baylor, Daquan Finn. I've heard of him. Where did he come from? The Birds brought in quarterback, a 3-year star at Toledo. Okay, he's pretty good, Daquan Finn. So I don't think Baylor's going to have much problem with him. In the little paragraph section, it gives you some things about the coach. The Bears hired former Texas State head coach Jack Spivital as offensive coordinator, one of 5 new coaches on the staff. He's brought his up-tempo and high-flying offense to. Okay, so now we see he's under the Mike Leach style where he's going to run the high tempo. I remember reading that about Miami last year with my man, what's his name? Tyler Van Dyke going, oh, great, he's going to have a high tempo. He'll throw 50 touchdowns. And there was no high tempo there. So I don't really know what that means, the air raid. So it's either air raid or non-air raid or maybe the running, which I don't see too often. So, or you get the USC style. So once we know the team, we know what Alabama's going to have, the Washington, right? They'll be explosive. They won't have that good of a defense like they usually do. What am I? I'm reading the Gray Sports Almanac. So I got my college football as I said I was going to. I got it at Target the other day. Where is Cam Rising? He's on Utah, so he's in the Big 12. That's what I said. And how's Daria doing? She's okay. She's I gave her money. So I'm getting that check-in from my mother's trust, and they got the paperwork. They mailed it out yesterday. I should get it tomorrow or Saturday. So I told Dario we're getting 1,200 in. Do you want to buy some roses? So I gave her a couple $100 for some roses and some clothes and whatever else. Again, she's in Russia, so whatever whatever joy I can bring her, I don't mind. So she's fine, and she's off today and tomorrow. Didn't hear from her today, but that's okay. I know she's off, and I told her to give me um, a look on her. Let me see what you got. So she'll probably do that tomorrow. But she's fine. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting on the mother to come to watch the daughter so we can go to Serbia. She says, just give me a little more time. She's waiting to get the mother to do it. But who knows, with the war and all this recession and inflation, it's not as easy as it used to be. It's great to help her out. These people saying you not to. Well, the people that say not to is because they think she's scamming me. Well, she's never going to meet you. She keeps putting it off. She just wants your money. And I don't buy that. I get it. I get when girls do that. Usually girls just, it's usually the other way around. They want money for sex, and then they don't want to be girlfriends. They just want the money for the sex. So here they're assuming money, I'll be your friend, but then we'll never meet. We're just taking your money, which I haven't met her, but there's a war on it. It's not normal circumstances. So that's really where you're at. Well, but she's not. Well, she's kind of online, but we're on WhatsApp. We're not on Twitter or a lot of scammers I find on Twitter or on Instagram, because you don't even know who they are, right? They're posing as a pretty girl or as a porn star or something. Oh, I'll meet you. Yeah, send me a couple $100 and I'll meet you. See, that's the scam that I won't fall for. But that's not what I'm doing with Daria. I get videos from her. We talk a lot, almost every day. We send pictures, and there's no way it's a scam. Now, she might be scamming me, but not the normal. Jenna, I've met 5 times. She's not scamming me, but she asked for money for help. See, the government doesn't help me. Help me, I die. I mean, what am I? And I've been with her. So at what point do you really know? I was married, and my ex-wife, I divorced, couldn't stand her after a while. But I think we run into that. It depends what it is, right? Is it a girl just asking for money? It depends on the intentions. It depends on so many factors. But with Daria, I don't get she's scamming me. Maybe she is, but at some point we're going to meet, or like if we don't meet by July, I'm not going to send her any more money, and then we'll get to the bottom of it. All I know is one day I didn't text her when she was gone for the week, and I didn't. And so I was texting her, "How are you? Are you okay?" And then I didn't text her, and she texted me, "Oh, I got the phone fixed right away." So she needs me in many different ways and reasons. So my judgment's very clear, and I don't think she's scamming me. It's not a lot of money. And I offered this money because I just got 1,200 in from the trust. I offered her the 200. She didn't ask me for it. She asked for rent. I gave her rent. And then I said, I can give you some more to make you feel good and buy some roses and go buy some other with this money. So That's what I did with it. So I'm not an idiot, but at what point do you believe a girl is actually real, or they all want money? So I think they all want money at the bottom of the line. But what I've learned from the Stoics, they want security, and there was the three things. They want comfort, security, and stability. That's what every girl wants. And so money is the comfort, security, and stability. Money is the security. I can eat, I can buy clothes, I can get makeup. So that's why you think they're after your money. They're not really, they're just after the security. So they want a confident guy who can give them security. That's what they're really after. But it comes in the form of money mostly, and that's really what the point is. Yeah, I know there's a lot of you're engaging with her. Um, you know, I it's really hard to say. Usually, once you meet them, then you really look them in the eye, and they look me in the eye, and everything is pretty much told. Jenna, we've met. That's why I say we've met. So I know Jenna really well. And she, wanted some money too, but I said no. And then it's how do they react? They know they're going to get something for the security so they can eat. I need money for food. Or she always says, I need money for life. I don't give her a lot. I'll give her $100 or so, but I know there's inflation in the Ukraine. There's a fucking war. So what am I going to do with her? She's in the middle of a war. What can I do? Now, as long as I can afford it, then I help her. If I can't, I don't. It's as simple as that. At this point, I can afford it. And now that I'm getting this money in from this trust, then, it's fine. It's when I can't afford it anymore is when I stop. And I'll just simply say, now, I might not be able to afford it because if BRICS goes in and they have the gold backed currency and the dollar goes out, I won't be able to use the dollar. I got gold, but what am I going to do with it? So I'd have to figure out how to get her that. Anyway, let's go back to this. So the Quan Finn from Baylor is from Toledo. Really good quarterbacks. I think Baylor should be good. They got 16 guys returning, 9 on offense, 7 on defense. So look for Baylor to have a pretty good year. They got a new coach, Dave Aranda, who he's been at the school. He's 23 and 20. They'll be okay. Nothing great. BYU, they got a new quarterback, Jake Retzlaff. Gary Bohannon he was at Baylor, got hurt, and now he's back. He went somewhere. I think he went to UCF or somewhere or South Florida. Didn't do shit there. Didn't make the starting team, and now he's backing up a junior, Jake Retzlaff, who I've never heard of. They've got 11 guys coming back, 6 on offense, 5 on defense. They're pretty well coached. Kalani Sataki's 61 and 41 at the school. So, you never know. Boise and BYU, I mean, sometimes they have really good teams. Not this year, I don't think. Cincinnati, okay, they've got Brendan Sorsby, a sophomore who's new. Never heard of this guy. They're usually, they had with the Ohio State guy, they were a very good defensive team. You bet them under, they'd win the conference. Now, they opened at Townsend and then Pittsburgh. I don't know, this guy's a sophomore. I don't think he's ever played before. They got 7 guys back on offense, only 4 on defense. Scott Setterfield, he's a good coach. He's 79 and 57 overall. The coordinators, who knows? That I'll have to read separately when I have the motivation and energy to do it. But so they won't be explosive with this quarterback. So we'll have to keep an eye on them. Again, you can't trust the Townsend game. So you got to throw out the stats. And then when they play Pitt and Miami of Ohio, you can start, but it's kind of a weak schedule. It's a weird schedule because Houston, T-Tech, UCF, Arizona State, Colorado, West Virginia are all in the conference. And the non-conference are Pitt, Miami of Ohio. I think Houston's in it. So it's Pitt, Miami of Ohio, and Townsend. What a weird schedule. I mean, they're all over this Big 12 is all over the place. Colorado, the prime timers. Well, we know all about Shedeur Sanders. He's already a senior. He's only played 1 year. Started out good and finished bad. Took 50 sacks because Daddy said, "Don't throw an interception, take a sack." Travis Hunter is the wide receiver. That's the big shot. He plays offense and defense, which I don't know how you can possibly do that in Big 12 football. New running back, freshman Miko Welch. I wonder how much he paid him to come. They got 6 guys back on defense. One of them's Travis Hunter. So what do you make out of them? They were an over team last year. They scored a lot, had no defense, and I wouldn't think they'd be different. They open up against, so let's see. Prime was 4-8 his first year. Offensive coordinator Pat Shermer, I have heard of him. Defensive coordinator Robert Levin, I've not heard of. So Shermer I've heard of from the NFL. So they open with North Dakota State, which they could lose to. They're the ones that always win the Division II or Division III. Then they go to Big Nebraska, and then it's Colorado State, and then here they go: Baylor, UCF, K-State, Cincinnati, T-Tech, Utah. A Utah game, the Kansas game will be hard games for them, and Oak State at the end. Their last 3 games are murder. So we know enough about Prime Junior here. It's the defense. So are they going to be an over team again? Defense allowed an average of 453 yards a game and 35 points. This is why I keep the stats, because if I see a defense giving up 35 points, it's an over. We're betting the game's over, or we're not betting on that team. Houston, Donovan Smith, he was there last year, not too good. They got 4 guys back on offense, 2 on defense, so they're in big trouble, Houston. Now, here's where the NIL comes in, which is still having to learn. Did he get players off the NIL, or does anybody want to come to Houston? And I saw where some guy's getting paid $7 million from the NIL, some quarterback. I'm like, really? They're paying that much money for a guy to transfer over. I don't know if I buy that. So Houston's in, pretty bad. Although Willie Fritz is a very good coach. He's 208 and 116 and 27 years. Took over Georgia Southern and Georgia State, and he did very well. So he's coming out of the Appalachian State, the Sun Belt. So he's a really good coach. So don't be surprised if they get a lot better. Houston, keep an eye on that. It's all the coach. You got a good coach, you're going to get better. Iowa State, Rocco Beck is a sophomore, played pretty good last year. They're missing a running back. Abu Sama, sophomore, I don't know. 9 back on defense, so they'll probably be another really strong defensive team. 8 back on offense. Look for them to do well. They open with North Dakota, and then they got the Iowa game. So we're betting the Iowa game under 100% of the time, Iowa State. It's a perfect 2 strong defenses. Look for the under. As long as we're getting over 32. You're hoping for a 40, but with Iowa, I don't know. They do have the Michigan coach, I believe, Iowa, so Michigan quarterback. So He was there last year. He got hurt, so we'll see. But Iowa State's a very good team to bet on. They're usually not, they'll be a dog at Iowa. They'll be getting 4 or 5 points, over under 35. You take Iowa. It's going to be a 9-7 game. You can take Iowa. You can State or take the dog and take the under. But Rocco back, he's fine. And 9 back on defense. This will be a very strong defensive team again. Kansas, I don't like Jalen Daniels. He got hurt. I didn't like him too much when he played, but they had Bean was the backup. I remember when Daniels got hurt. They started to play well, and then Daniels gets hurt, and here comes Bean. And I had a big over bet against Oklahoma or somebody, and I'm going, oh, shit. Daniels is out. I'm in trouble. And Bean lit it up for 4 touchdowns. And then Bean started playing because Daniels had a hurt knee or whatever, and he looked great. So Bean, I don't know where Bean went to, but he's very good. Daniels, I don't know. He's injury prone. They're a very high scoring team, Kansas, although their offensive coordinator left. But this Lance Leopold's a good coach. He won all these Division II titles with like Wisconsin Whitewater or whatever. So he went to Buffalo, and now he's at Kansas, and they are a very explosive team. So they're not a bad team. They're not the Z team that, wins 1 game every 5 years. This is a very good team. So look for them to be, and that forecast is number 21. They were 9-4 last year. So look for a very, let's see. Well, we can't bet them the first week. They're playing Lindenwood. How the fuck do you even? I've never even heard of the team, Lindenwood. Then they go at Illinois if they're getting points. Vegas isn't over. West Virginia isn't over. TCU. All these games will be over with Kansas this year. K-State, we got a new quarterback, A.V. Johnson, I think. Johnson was there last year. So he has played a little last year. Howard, the Ohio State quarterback, was the quarterback. So K-State's usually a very good team, well coached. I like their coach, Kleiman, 39-24 at Kansas State, right? So he's a good coach. And they got 4 back on offense, 7 on defense. They'll just be a very good team. So always a good bet, K-State. They open with Tennessee Martin. See, the first week, like last year, they played Southeast Missouri State, and they won 45-0. What did that tell you? Nothing. Then they beat Troy 42-13, and they lost to a great Missouri team who you didn't know was a great Missouri team. I think they were a dog in the game, but Missouri, and they lost to Oak State with a great running back, and Texas, it was 33-30, and Iowa State, they lost 42-35. So that's what you should expect out of them. Pretty good team, pretty good scoring, a live dog. And they don't have Oklahoma or Texas to fuck around with anymore. Oklahoma State. Wade Phillips won the UFL. Yeah, him and Bum Phillips. Wade's always been a choke. All right, have a good day. I don't know. I didn't watch a minute of the USFL or whatever it's called now. Okay, Oak State. Alan Bowman, the quarterback, is back. A lot of seniors. Wow, they've got a ton of seniors. And Ollie Gordon, best running back in college football. What's good about him is he'd run up the line. It'd be 3rd and 1 at the 50-yard line, and he'd get the yard every time. But he'd break the tackle, And you think he's going to get 10 yards, and he'd gone. They couldn't catch him. He doesn't look that fast, but I'm telling you, he's Jim Brown. He's extremely hard to knock down and extremely fast once he breaks the line. And he just wears you out. So, yeah, keep an eye on this guy. Very, very good. Should be one of the top 5 picks next year in the draft. Although they won't draft running backs, they'd rather draft terrible quarterbacks and offensive linemen. These idiots. So look for Oak State. They got 10 guys on offense back, 10 guys on defense back. Mike Gundy's still there, 166 and 79 in 19 years. He's your man. So look for Oak State to be really knocking on the door this year. And they start with Central Arkansas, so you don't learn anything. No, that was last year. They start with South Dakota State, which who knows, and then Arkansas, Tulsa, Utah will be a big game. Kansas State will be a big game. And that's it. So they got 2 big games. There's so many weak teams in this. I go down the list: Baylor, BYU, Arizona State, TCU, Texas Tech, Colorado. None of them are any good. Interesting. TCU, we got a new quarterback, Josh Hoover. Well, he's not a new quarterback. I don't recall him last year. Chad Morris was unable to get things. Well, you got hurt again. Josh Hoover provided more steady hand, also got so much needed experience. So I love the coach in Sonny Dykes. Very good coach. Got him to the championship game against Georgia, but Georgia's in a different league. He's got 4 back on offense, 6 back on defense. I look for this team to be much better than last year. They'll be more like they were 2 years ago. So they should be a live dog. They open at Stanford, then LIU. I don't know what that is. UCF. At SMU should be a very high-scoring game. Kansas also. Houston also. Utah with Cam Rising. I don't know if they'll be able to score too much on that defense. All right. Texas Tech. Benron Morton is a junior, is the quarterback. I don't think I know this guy. Joey McGuire is a coach, 15-11 in 2 years. Well, Ty Brooks is a 1,500-yard rusher. I don't know, so many transfers you never heard of. We'll have to get more into the details. This is just a high-level look. So Benron Morton was the quarterback. Ty Brooks is a big running 1,500-yard running back. So look for them to run the ball more, which could keep their points. Actually, it'll be good for the points because they'll be able to score in the red zone. Most teams just haven't figured out you need to be able to run in the red zone for some reason. They want to throw 4 passes from the 10-yard line, and they're all incomplete. You know, it's 2 fades into the corner. Those are incomplete. Then you throw like a 5-yard pass, and then on 4th down, what do you run, across or a drag or something? I mean, it's the play calling it inside the 20-yard line. So stupid. Oh my God. UCF. They got my man, KJ Jefferson. I know Bobby hates him, but very good quarterback. RJ Harvey is the running back. Gus Malzahn, we remember him from Auburn. He's the coach. They were 6-7 last year. 5 offense, 4 defense back. Look for the running with KJ Jefferson, with Gus Malzahn. Reminds you of when they went to the championship game with the running quarterback they had there. So they could be very explosive, UCF. Utah, Cam Rising. What else can we say? He's the best. Brant Guthrie, the tight ends, All-American. They got 8 back on defense. This will be by far the best team in this division. Look for Utah. Look for Cam Rising to have a real big year. So he's the best. He's the best quarterback in the country. West Virginia, Garrett Green, the senior. West Virginia, running backs back. They got 7 offense, 6 defense. And Neil Brown, 31 and 29 in 5 years. So you're not getting a new quarterback, a new coach. They're usually a pretty explosive team with a weak defense. They open at Penn State. Now they lost to Penn State in the opener 38-15 last year. Now they get a little revenge. These teams will play much better at home. If they're a home dog, and I think they are. I think we looked at the odds. Yeah, I like West Virginia as a big home dog. They were 9-4. Let's see. They beat. They lost Oklahoma 59-20. They didn't play Texas. And in the bowl game, it doesn't mean anything. They beat Baylor, Cincinnati. They lost to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So when they get into the big games where they pound the real good offenses, they struggle. But against Penn State, I would think at home it's a little revenge there. And that is the Big 12. So the best team is Utah. Look for Oak State. Look for West Virginia. UCF could be interesting in conference. The Texas TCUs, Houston. I mean, there's a lot of potential, but the teams it's the defense wins, and that's Utah. They have the best defense every year. They always have a very good defense. They're right up there with Georgia and Iowa and Iowa State and Oregon. So you have some very good they're a very good defensive team. If Rising just looks anything like he normally does, they'll blow everybody out in the conference. Let's look at Utah's schedule. Utah opens up with Southern Utah. That'll be a cakewalk. They get Baylor, then Utah State. Oklahoma State will be the big game. Arizona could be. We got to see what the coach looks like. Arizona State, TCU could be a little tough. Houston, BYU, they'll kill Colorado. Iowa State, UCF. UCF maybe at the end. So they got they got the Oak State game and the Arizona game. Maybe the TCU if TCU's really improved. They got 2 games to really worry about. So look out for Utah to be for sure in the playoffs. How the playoffs are going to work, it's going to be idiotic, just like it usually is. There's 12 teams, but they'll all come from the SEC and the Big Ten, and you haven't really solved anything. So now let's look at the Big 10, the Big 18, actually. There's 18 teams in the Big 10, seriously. All right, here's the projected order of finish by this idiot, not by me. Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, USC. There's no way USC's 5. Iowa, Nebraska's now, Wisconsin's higher, Rutgers, Washington's much higher. Maryland, Minnesota, Michigan State, UCLA is much higher. Illinois, Northwestern, Indiana, and Purdue. So how the fuck do you have Washington at 10? And how the fuck do you have USC at 5? All right. USC has no defense. They don't have a quarterback as far as I can tell. I'm not sure the Bears have a quarterback either now. They're all Big 10 first team. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback. And then this is kind of weird. Quinshawn Junkins and Trevion Henderson, both of Ohio State, are the first team running backs. Then you got Singleton out of Penn State. He's a running back. And then Igbagwa, Ohio State receiver. And then Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart from Washington. first team from Oregon are the first team wide receivers. Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, and then the line is Iowa, two more Oregons, Ohio State, Minnesota. So Oregon's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the first 10 Big Ten all team. I don't know about that. Ohio State's got 5 on the all Big Ten defensive team. I don't know about that. They had a pretty good defense. Michigan's got 2. So you can really judge a team by in their own conference. How many are first teamers? Ohio State, 3 offensive, 4 offensive, and then they got 5 defensive. So Dylan Gabriel came from UCF, then went to Oklahoma. I'm not sure why I would leave Oklahoma to come to Oregon. We'll see. So it'll be a very interesting Big Ten. And let's go through it. And you got to remember Ohio State got Will Howard from Kansas State as the quarterback, who's a really good one. Jerry West passed away. Yeah, I know that. What did you think of him? He was great player. Who do I like, Raiders or Broncos? I like the Broncos. The Raiders missed taking, San Diego missed taking Brock Bowers. Oakland needs a quarterback. Denver's got a quarterback. We got to see how their defense is. So if Denver's got a good defense, they'll be good. If Oakland, they need a quarterback. They're not gonna win with Gardner Minshew. My God, they couldn't draft. There's 25 quarterbacks to draft. They don't draft any of them. Even the shirt's tight. Okay. So let's go. We start off with the Illini. Luke Altmaier is the quarterback. Not very good. They got 5 back on offense, 4 on defense. Brett Bielema. What did Bobby call him? Humpty Dumpty, I think. He needs to lose weight or he's going to die of a stroke soon. He's 18 and 19, 3 years. Career record 115-77 at Wisconsin, most of them. At Arkansas, I don't think he was 300. They've got, I don't know who the offensive and defensive coordinators are. So I don't have all their stats. I need to go on my spreadsheet to go through this to give you more detail, which I will do at another date. So Luke Altmaier, not a great quarterback. They got, like I said, 5 and 4. So they're gonna their make is they're gonna play good defense and run the ball. That's what Illinois is gonna do. They're gonna play Wisconsin football, in other words. Indiana, Curtis Rourke. He's from Ohio in the MAC, and I know that. Doesn't say it there. He was a pretty good quarterback. They got 4 returning and 5 returning offense and defense. The coach, Kurt Kignott, this is his first season, so look out on where the hell they get these guys. Career records 119 and 35. Who is this guy? Former James Madison head coach. Offensive background is a key factor. So he's an offensive coach from James Madison. Supposedly good with quarterbacks, good with offense. All right, so good at James Madison. How's he going to be in the Big Ten? I don't know. We will see. But Indiana probably near the bottom. Iowa, they've got Cade McNamara back from Michigan. He transferred, hurt his knee. Will they score more than 10 points a game? Good question. They got 8 back on defense, 9 back on offense. And Kirk Ferentz is 196 and 119 after 25 years here. So they've gone to a new offensive coordinator. Basically, they play games 10-9. They don't score much, and you don't score on them. So this should be a very interesting year with them. McNamara wasn't too bad before he got hurt, but how is he going to recover? So we'll see. But we know Iowa's an under team, a good defensive team. So we'll see what they do. If they're, like I said, they got the Iowa State game. It was 20-13 last year. Wow, they got 20-13. Holy shit. Maryland. Now I know Tagovailoa's brother is gone. He was the quarterback. Nobody drafted him. That's what I feel about Tay. He shouldn't have been drafted either. But since he went to Alabama, he got drafted. The brother goes to Maryland, and he sucked. Too many interceptions. 5 back on offense, 6 on defense. Maryland. Mike Loxley is more of an offensive coach than a defense. They're more of an overcoach, and they're much better at home than they are on the road. They open up against Connecticut. Then they get Michigan State. This is going to be interesting. I'm looking at their schedule. It's USC, Oregon, and Penn State. This is going to be a really fucked schedule. Iowa, Penn State, Wisconsin, and they get Michigan. Oh, no. Hope so I'm in the right year. On one hand, they're over to the left. On the other side, they're in the middle. They get Iowa State. Then they get Ohio State, Washington, Wisconsin, UCLA. Very interesting for Iowa. I don't know how they're going to break the divisions. It was like East and West, so I don't know. You got 18 teams. You're going to have 9. What are you going to have? 3 6s, or what are you going to have for your conferences? So Maryland, Cameron Edge, I never heard of. So they got a new quarterback, not much talent, and they're an over type of team. Michigan, all right. I'm dying for this schedule. So they got Fresno State, Texas, then they get the USC, Washington, Michigan State, Oregon, and they finish with Ohio State. If Michigan goes undefeated, then I will give them credit that I didn't give them last year. This is killer schedule. I mean, because you got Texas and Fresno State is no laughing team. USC, they should probably beat. Washington, Michigan State always gives them trouble. Oregon and Ohio State. Now, keep in mind, Michigan State's Oregon State, right? The Oregon State coach and some players came there. I think the quarterback. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big games plus USC, and very, very interesting. So they get a new coach, quarterback, Alex Orji, Orji, who played very little last year, coming for a snap. He's a running type of quarterback. Good luck with that, boys, against these type of teams. You don't run on Texas and Oregon and Ohio State. You got a running quarterback, you're getting blown out because their defenses are faster than your quarterback. He has to throw, and he can't. Look at Lamar, right? So very interesting. They got 1 back at offense, 4 on defense. They're going to stink this year. Bunch of sophomores. National forecast 7. I would like to meet the guy that said they're going to be 7. And I would bet them $5,000 that they're not even in the top 25. How are they going to be 7? What they don't. The coach left. The quarterback's gone. He wasn't good anyway. Donovan, the running backs are gone. They got the tight end back. I never heard of the receivers. The defense was a Ponzi. It was a gimmick. They rushed 6 guys. But the defensive coordinators at San Diego with Harbaugh, If they have to play normal defense, good luck against Oregon, Ohio State, Washington, USC, and Texas. Yeah, that's 5 losses I'm counting. Maybe not USC, but then maybe they lose to Michigan State. Good luck there. Michigan State got the Oregon State coach, the Oregon State quarterback, Childs. Never heard of the running back. 6 back on defense. Oregon State normally had a good defensive team. So we will see. They will be much better. National Forecast 58. Let's look at their schedule. Open at Florida Atlantic. They got Lou Lafayette. Well, that's probably a loss. Ohio State, Oregon. Oh, my God. Listen to this. Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan in October. Good luck with that. That's 4 losses. Maybe they get Michigan. Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, and Rutgers. So really, they got the 4 hard games, and they should win going out. Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, and Rutgers suck. Rutgers, good defense. So what is, Ohio State at Oregon, Iowa at Michigan. Okay. Can they beat any of those things? They can't beat Ohio State, and they're not winning at Oregon. They're not beating Iowa. Maybe they can beat Michigan, as I said. So a lot of trouble, but I love the coach, Oregon State, very good coach. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers with the PJ Fleck from Western Michigan. He's actually 50-34 in 7 years. Let's look at their schedule. They open with North Carolina, then got Iowa, Michigan, USC, UCLA, and then Penn State, Wisconsin at the end. Holy shit. Even North Carolina, the great quarterback, Drake May, is not there anymore. I don't know. UCLA, it's going to be a really mystery. They had a lot of talent. They had a really strong defense and a good quarterback. We'll have to see what they look like. But they got I don't know. The coach has never coached before. It's like, and their coach went to Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator. I've never seen that. You're the head coach of UCLA, and you're going to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Ohio State's going to score 100 points a game. That's all I can say. Big Nebraska. Well, anyway, Minnesota with the new quarterback, but he's a senior. Max Browsberg, never heard of him. Drake Lindsay is the freshman quarterback. We'll keep an eye on him. Nothing with running and a lot of defense. They got 8 back on defense. Look for Minnesota to be a good defensive team, a good under team. No quarterback, great defense. We're betting them under. Big Nebraska. What do we got here? Never freshman quarterback. Heinrich Himmler, the junior, is supposed to be behind him. So this freshman is supposed to be the starter based on this depth chart, but we'll see. 6 back offense, 7 back defense. Matt Rule is 5-7 in 1 year, 52-50. I don't know. He's not that good. Didn't he coach in the pros for a little bit? 2 offensive coordinators, which I find to be very stupid because I want to make the call, but now I got to ask you, what are we going to call? So now we got to have this debate, and then we got to have a decision made. And when you're making a decision, you want one decision maker. You don't want 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know how these co-offensive coordinators is going to work. I think it's going to be a big problem. So Nebraska's sucked the last few years. Let's see who their schedule is. They get Colorado in prime. They get Ohio State, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa. They got a tough 5 at the end. They should be okay going into Ohio State. They got UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. So many bad teams. Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers. Rutgers might be decent with the coach, and Indiana. Then they get Ohio State, USC. So a lot depends on the schedule here, but they got Wisconsin and Iowa at the end. That's not going to be good. Northwestern, new quarterback, Jack Losh, never heard of him. Ryan Helsinki, I have heard of him. A lot of turnovers. He's the backup, so I don't know how long he'll be the backup for. We got David Braun, the coach. He's 8-5. He took over when the other guy said something funny, and they fired him for that last year. I don't know who the coordinators are. I couldn't tell you in a million years. Let's look at their schedule. They get Duke, Washington, Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan. You know, there's just too many good teams in the Big Ten. You can't avoid Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. You know, UCLA, USC. We got to see how good they are. Ohio State, Will Howard, great quarterback. He's probably right up there. There's Cam Rising, and then there's him, and then we'll see the others as they come through, and whoever's at North Carolina, because we know how good those quarterbacks are. In Alabama, are you kidding me? They have Milrose from Alabama ranked ahead of Cam Rising, and you want me to believe one word written here by these idiots? No. Then they got two good running backs, Ohio State, Trevon Henderson. Ugabagawa as the receiver. I know I'm saying that close. The other two I don't know, but they always have good receivers, good running backs, decent line, and they're loaded defensively. Nine players returning. So look for Ohio State. They had a really good defense last year. Look for them to be very strong. They're a strong A team. National forecast is 2. I'm not sure about that. I think Georgia's 1. I'm not sure if they're 2 or not. Let's look at their schedule. Southern Miss, then Western and Marshall. Then we get Michigan State, and we get Iowa. Here it gets interesting. Iowa and Oregon, at Oregon. That's going to be a loss. Nebraska, then at Penn State, and they close with Michigan. So basically, it all comes down to the Iowa or Iowa's at home. They'll beat them. At Oregon is going to be really tough. At Penn State, they always have problems there. And against Michigan, they've lost 3 in a row. I don't know anymore. Is it just they don't match up to Michigan anymore, or Harbaugh really just ran it down their throats? So we'll be interested to see what Michigan does this year. Are they going to just do the same thing? But their defense isn't going to be as good. They got a new defensive coordinator. I think Michigan falls flat on their ass this year. Anyway, so Ohio State. I do love Will Howard. Very good quarterback. If you're a good quarterback at Kansas State, you're a really good quarterback. Oregon, Dylan Gabriel. You got a great quarterback there. 2 good running backs. You got some good receivers, Tez Johnson, Gary Bryant. 4 back on defense. So that's going to be – but they should reload their defense. Let's look at their schedule. At UCLA, then they got Michigan State, then they got Ohio State, then they got Michigan, and they got Wisconsin, and they close with Washington. So this is very interesting. They should go 4-0, and then we got to see what UCLA looks like. So their big game is going to be Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Washington. All winnable. Penn State, Drew Whaler. I'm confused by him. He was like 20 touchdowns and 1 interception, and he sucked. I don't know. Singleton's a good running back. 5 guys back on offense, 6 on defense. I don't know how they, with the transfers, they get, all these guys in the transfer portal, but they're new to the team, so they don't show up as depth chart. So we'll have to figure that out. A lot of watching the first 2 weeks. Their 24 schedule opens at West Virginia, which I told you is a revenge game. Look out. Then they got UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Washington. Holy fuck. They avoid Michigan. Look at this five team. UCLA, maybe not that good. At USC, so they got to travel. So they get UCLA at home at USC. Then they get Wisconsin, who's always trouble at home. And then they got Ohio State and Washington. So Washington, I'm sure, is going to be good. They avoid Oregon and Michigan. So good luck with the USC, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Washington. See, the problem, national forecast, they can't all be, they're going to lose these games. So it's going to be rough. Just the schedule is going to be very tough. I don't know if they thought that out when all these teams merged into the Big 12 and the Big 10. Southeast Conference really only got Oklahoma, Texas, and you're wondering why the hell did you do that? So, I mean, don't they make money on their brand? You're Texas. You don't make money on the TV and in the brand? Like, so aren't you better off winning the Big 12, getting the TV and selling the merchandise and being a winner than going to the SEC, losing to Alabama, although they did beat Alabama last year. But you get to play Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, LSU. Maybe if Florida gets better. Are you crazy? I don't know. Here you only had Oklahoma to worry about and Oak State once in a while, but I don't know. Purdue, quarterback, Houston Card. I've heard of him. Not very good. They got 6 back on offense, 5 on defense. Let's look at their schedule. They get Notre Dame again, and then at Oregon State. What a screwy schedule. Notre Dame at Oregon State. And then, by the way, Wisconsin, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. What are you, out of your fucking mind? You scheduling Notre Dame? You don't need a Notre Dame when you've got Wisconsin, Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State on your schedule. Houston Carr, where is he from? He transferred in. Oh, he's from Texas. Okay. So he transferred in last year from Texas. So he's been there a year. Quarterback Ryan Walters, 4-8 at the school. The guy from Louisville was the coach, and he couldn't win. And so he goes back to Louisville. He starts winning again, but I don't know. Rutgers. Athan Kalakamanis. This is their quarterback. Senior, never heard of him. I think he played a little last year, and I still didn't hear of him. Oh, he's a Minnesota transfer. Okay. So he transfers in from Minnesota where he sucked. So Rutgers grabs him because they have nothing. They got 6 back on offense and defense. We know how good Shiano's defense is. This is always an under team. Let's look at their schedule. VTech, which sucks. Washington, at Nebraska, Wisconsin, UCLA, USC, and that's it. Then they get Maryland, Illinois, Michigan. So they got their 4th game. Wisconsin, UCLA, USC, and Washington to deal with. So, don't forget, Wisconsin's still a really good team. So this will be interesting. The UCLA game should be under 10. USC, I don't know. They'll give USC all they want with their defense. And Washington will be interesting. So all these different styles, and now we got Washington, their coach runs to Alabama. You fucking get to the finals. Why are you running to Alabama? You've got what you want. And it reminds me of Scott Frost, who was at UCF, and they're winning all these games. They go undefeated. And then he goes to Nebraska, and you never hear from him. He doesn't even go 500 at Nebraska. So I don't know what these guys are doing. All right, UCLA. Ethan Garbers is a senior. He's returning. I don't know why they don't have him highlighted. TJ Harden, I don't know. Are the Twins there on defense? I don't know. Give me a second. Defensive coordinator went to USC. Latu, their All-American linebacker. The bulk of the secondary are gone. We'll have to see. I mean, this is The defensive coordinator went to USC. UCLA had a great defense last year. The quarterback went also. They had this new freshman who was, he wasn't that good. But he's got Eric Bieniemy is the new offensive coordinator. I never liked him that much. We'll have to see, but they got some pretty good talent. USC gets the defensive coordinator from UCLA, which might help them. But the way USC runs their offense, it's hard to beat defense because they don't rush. They 4 plays, touchdown, or 3 and out. The defense never gets a chance to run. Miller Moss threw 8 touchdowns in the fake bowl game against nobody. Woody Marks, a senior running back. Wide receivers, I never heard of them. Defense, 4 guys. And they start with, all right, you listening, Bobby? They start with LSU. Then they get Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, Washington, UCLA, and they're still playing Notre Dame. Wow. So LSU, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, Washington, UCLA. No, they got 7 hard games. Because even UCLA is going to be a hard game, even, no matter how bad they are. Wow. Oh, the LSU games from Vegas. Maybe we should go to Vegas September 1st and see Bobby there. Bobby, you going to go to the LSU game in Vegas? I'll meet you there. If Bobby's still alive, we have no idea. So this will be interesting to see. This team's going to get killed. Miller Moss, okay, he looks good in a bowl game. Is he really that good? We'll find out pretty quick against LSU. They got all the speed. LSU's always a good team. Washington, this will be Will Rogers. Where is he from? So Washington's gutted. All their players went on to the draft. The staff retained 3 key transfers. Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers. Are you running the same offense? You don't even have your offensive coordinator because he went to the Seattle Seahawks. You lost your coach. It was all the coach that's why they were so good. I don't know. They have 0 back. They get to the national title game. They have 0 back on offense. A lot of sophomores, a couple of freshmen, and on defense. So I don't know. Washington. Let's see there. They got Washington State September 14th, Michigan, Iowa, USC, Penn State, UCLA, and Oregon. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, like how good UCLA is going to be and how good, we know Oregon's good, loaded. Penn State's loaded. USC, if the quarterback's good, Michigan should be good. Washington State. So it's still USC, Penn State, UCLA, and Oregon. What a way to finish. So these teams are going to kill themselves, and then you're going to get to the playoffs, and all the Big Ten teams are going to have 3 or 4 losses because they're playing each other. You got Ohio State, you got Oregon, and then you got, we're not sure about Washington, and UCLA's regrouping. USC looks better, and then Michigan will lose a little, and then you have Penn State should be better. And, by the way, Iowa and Wisconsin right here. Let's look at Wisconsin. Tyler Van Dyke, my man, is that Wisconsin now? Interesting. They didn't do anything with the SMU quarterback, so let's see what they do. 5 guys back offense, 5 guys back defense. Wisconsin's move to an air raid offense failed to get off the ground last year. But the belief is that a year in the system will result in more confidence. So, again, they're going to try the air raid. But you got to have the players to do it. You can't just do it. So, last year they tried it with the SMU quarterback. That's shit. This year you got Tyler Van Dyke, my guy from Miami, was great. Luke Fickell. We'll see. Phil Longo is the offensive coordinator. I don't know who that is. Anyway, they're going that. Wisconsin will try to replace Brandon Allen, who went to the NFL. So but Luke Fickell, this will be a good defense and good at home. And look at their schedule. Alabama, are they out of their fucking mind? You're in the Big Ten with all that shit, and you go in week 3, you're playing at home against Alabama. Holy shit. Then you're at USC. Yeah, just for the hell of it. And then you got Penn State, Iowa, Oregon to close it out. So you miss Ohio State. You're at Nebraska near the end. Oregon, Iowa, Penn State. Oof. And then USC and Alabama. They got it tough. I'll tell you, though, they could beat Alabama at home, depending. I mean, the whole thing's so fucked up now with all the transfers. At USC, they played Washington State lost 31-22, and I'd compare it to that. So they'll have fun at USC trying to cover the people, but I would say they would run it down their throat. But now they're going to the Air Raid. I don't know what that Wisconsin is. All right, that is your Big 12 and Big 10. And there's just so many teams just loaded up there. And wait till we get to the SEC. You got LSU and Alabama and Auburn and Georgia and Florida and Tennessee. And then we got Oklahoma and Texas there. You got 8 teams there. I don't know what they're doing. So they're going to have 12 in the playoffs, and these teams are going to beat each other up. Now, they'll probably have 3 or 4. I think Georgia plays Alabama this year. I know Georgia's got Clemson week 1. We're going to bet the under on that one. But then you got Georgia, Alabama. It's funny, with Nick Saban, they never played Georgia. And then I think, and now they're starting to, because of the whole thing, the whole mix changes. But I don't know what the playoff is going to be. 2 losses or what? To me, you win the SEC, you're in. You win the Big Ten. Whoever wins the conference should be in. That's the first thing. And then you start getting your wild cards. Is Notre Dame is okay. If whoever wins between Ohio State and Oregon wins the conference, the other guy should be in the playoff. So the game's at Oregon. If Oregon wins, Ohio State should be in. And then is Michigan that good? I don't know, Washington, and they're all fucked. Washington, UCLA are all gutted, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They get a lot of talent. They're good teams, so this will be very interesting. Teams like Arizona get better. A great quarterback there. So this is what do we look for? We look for defense. Oregon, Ohio State will have great defenses. So will Iowa. I'm pretty sure Wisconsin will with their coach. Michigan, possibly. I don't know. Their defensive coordinator moved on. Texas had a good. Well, they not that great. Georgia, Iowa State, Iowa. The usual suspects on defense. So this will be very interesting. See, the thing is, it's really the coach. The players move around with this NIL bullshit. It doesn't really necessarily mean anything. The SMU kid goes to Wisconsin. They couldn't score last year. So now you got Van Dyke getting out of Miami. Look at Miami. All these guys they got, it doesn't matter. You still have an idiot coach who doesn't take a knee. So what the fuck are you going to do with this coach? He's not very good. So it's how the coach develop the players, the systems and schemes they run. Like Michigan, they basically they blitzed 6 guys every play, and people couldn't figure them out and didn't figure out what to do against it. They had really good secondary guys who attacked. So if you did try to throw a quick pass because the blitz was coming, the corner, the defense was right there to stop it. So that was like the checkmate. So you needed to like fake it there and come back to the other side or do crossing routes. What I would have done, like Tom Brady, I would have just sent my receiver across the middle because they blitzed 6 guys. So you couldn't really run into it with the 6, and it was, so, and they're going to get pressure on you. So that's why their defense was so hard. And the fact they didn't play anybody with an offense last year until Washington, but their running back, I think, was out. So Michigan had the easiest schedule. Ohio State had no offense. Penn State had no offense. And so they just ran the ball, and played defense, and that was it. The quarterback sucked. So he gets drafted in the first round. Well, good luck, Minnesota. We'll keep an eye on you. Start him, and then we're going to bury you. We're going to bet so much against you. We know he's not good. This is where the stoic comes in. We know the guy's not good, so we bet against him. We know Cam Rising is the best quarterback in college football. We will bet accordingly, especially if you let me have him as a dog sometimes. But they only have 1 or 2 games to worry about. Maybe TCU gets a little bit better, but that's it. So we're looking at, let me just write this down. So you got to stay stoic. Oh, Rising's not that good. Van Dyke's not that good. Yeah, bullshit. I know what's good and what isn't good. And so that's how you got to play it. That's how we make a fortune, because I can judge talent. And that's the key. All these idiots now are just looking at stats. You can't look at stats. I was listening to the Tiger game on the way home from swim today, and it was like the Tigers were all the pitchers and hitters are all fucked up now. The pitchers don't even the hitters don't even know how to bunt anymore because they wanted to walk because of that stupid analytics. Oh, you don't want any no bunts, no stolen bases. We're gonna walk. We're gonna just tire the pitcher out. We're just gonna walk. We'll hit foul ball. That's how we're gonna play baseball now. So we want guys that walk. We don't want guys that hit. We want guys that hit home runs. We don't want guys that hit 300 anymore. And the pitchers don't know how to hold a guy on first. So there's all these steals are happening now. And it's bullshit. I mean, I don't know why people listen to this analytics for. It doesn't work in football. It doesn't work in basketball. And it certainly doesn't work in baseball. So why do you listen to it? We need an analytics department because we got to know, how many walks these guys can get as they all hit 120, and eventually they have to hit the ball. Ain't gonna work. And they said the pitchers were working on spin rates and other shit, and that's probably why all their arms are fried. Because I think if you turn the ball for spin rate, it really hurts your elbow. And all these Tommy John surgeries and all this shit. So whoever went to this, they're all idiots, right? But this is the problem. See, being stoic, I know I'm right about Cam Rising. I know I'm right about certain players, right? Georgia and Oregon and all that. I know I'm right about it. So I just follow my path. I'm betting on Oregon. I'm betting on Utah. I'm, here and there. I'm betting on Mahomes, not Lamar. And that's where you're at. And see that they just said, fuck it. This is what we're doing. We're going to keep it what works, not change it because we should go on 4th and 2. And see how well that works, right? Against who? And if I don't make it, I lose the game. We saw Oregon do that against Washington in the first game, where they lost the game by going on 4th down. We saw the Lions do it against the Niners twice. Instead of tying the game, how do you not tie the game up late in the 4th quarter? No, we're going to go for it. Well, if you don't make it, you lose the game. Yeah, but we're going to go for it anyway because I'm too stupid to coach. And the only thing I know is that the analytics say 51% of the time against average teams it works. Yeah, but if you don't get it, you're going to lose the game because the Niners are going to score. That's okay. And now it's like, yeah, we didn't get to the Super Bowl, so this year we'll go to the Super Bowl. You ain't even going to win 8 games. You're not even going to make the playoffs. And that's the fallacy of teams like the Lions or these other teams is they get the easy schedule and they do good. When they get the hard schedule, like they got this year, they're going to get killed because they're not that good of a team. They're only good against weak teams. Now we'll see, but I wouldn't bet on the Lions. I heard they were going, oh, who's going to win the division? Green Bay by a mile. And then the Bears will be lucky to win 3, and the Vikings will be, depends who the Vikings use as quarterback, but Darnold and J.J. McCarthy both suck. You got Justin Jefferson sitting there. Guy can catch 500 passes a year. He's going to be lucky to get 50 because these quarterbacks aren't going to be able to throw it to him. The defense is questionable. The Bears, good defense, but Caleb's not good. And then you got Jared Goff, who's really not that good, but he's got a good offensive coordinator. He's got good balance, so they can run and throw. But he throws a lot of key interceptions, and he's not good against very good teams. So that's what you have. So you break everything down. Once you know Mahomes is the man, and that's who I'm betting on, nobody can make me not bet on him. And nobody's going to make me bet on Lamar in a big game. I'm going to bet on Joe Burrow every time he's a dog, every time I can. I know he's the best. Well, he's second. He's probably right up there with Mahomes. But you know that, and then you just take it to college. That's why we look at quarter. We'll probably get 20 new quarterbacks we've never heard of, and I'll be going, we're going to bet on this guy. We're betting on that guy as they come. That's why you got to watch it. Now we know Dylan Gabriel. We know Cam Rising. These are superstars. Van Dyke could be very good at Wisconsin. I know he's very good. Same thing in the pros. Penix and Bo Nix are going to be very good in the pros. But anytime Drake May plays or J.J. McCarthy, I'm betting heavily against them. They suck. And Caleb, if you think, see, this is where you get in trouble. You listen to the fucking guy, oh, Caleb's this and Caleb's that. Watch him. He's not all that. Okay. I'm sorry. He's not all that. And that's the bottom line. So the Bears will be lucky to win 4 or 5 games. But the worst team is going to be New England and Carolina. Carolina will be the worst. New England's right there. Washington's right there. The Giants won't be much better. Tennessee won't be much better. The Bears, so we'll see. You're overrating your quarterback is not a good thing, but they don't even know what they're looking for. So that's how do you draft a quarterback? All right. So baseball, most of them have started. Let's see how they ended. We got the Cubs over 7.5, Philly under 8.5, 10 unit. The Mets, Oakland over 8, Arizona over 8.5, 5 units in Texas. So let's see. All right. So the Cubs game doesn't start till 7 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock now. And how did it end? Atlanta beat Baltimore 6-3. Very low ERAs. 1.69 by Ronaldo Lopez and Cole Irvin 6-3 with 303. I don't know how they scored that many. Detroit wins 7-2. KC, the Yanks come back. It's 4-3. KC wins, and St. Louis 4, Pitt 3. So it's important to watch like KC and the Yankees how they do because KC's got a lot of good pitching. The Yankees have been hitting everybody, and all of a sudden they only get 3 on KC. St. Louis, Pittsburgh 4-3. I don't know. That's the confusing games. Let's see. Let's check our gold. Gold's at 23.04. Silver's at 28.96. It's all a joke because as soon as they do the call derivative, the price goes up because they don't want to sell it. But we got to get rid of the paper and rid of the derivatives. Once we get rid of the whole game, which is a paper game, onto what is my actual cost for my physical coin, which is 20 times higher than it is now, then we'll get our real gold price. So again, you got to be stoic, and you got to understand that this price isn't the real price. And I know Luke gets scared. He sees this derivative go down. They did a put option, wanting the price to go down, and he gets scared. But it's not because of demand. It's strictly due to the option and wanting the price to go. So anyway, 23.04, 28.96. Let me read this one email. So I'm still waiting to hear on the jobs. So I texted my recruiter. And he says, we're still waiting. So my question is, any news on the position? I interviewed a week ago Monday. He says no updates. I emailed everyone yesterday for an update. Dawn Brown is now the HR lead on it. So we're waiting. Must be Father's Day this week. So still waiting on the job. Still, I emailed my guy about Harley. Still waiting on that one. I said I should go to Barcelona again. Last time I went to Barcelona, I interviewed with Harley at the Philadelphia airport 2 hours before the flight left for Spain. Did very well. Monday in Barcelona, it's Monday afternoon. It's Monday morning here, and I get the job. So I teased the guy. I said, well, I should probably go back to Barcelona with Jenna, and I'll get the job. So what takes so long? So a nothing's better than a no. Not like I didn't get anything. So we will see. It's just taking time, which is fine. Like I said, it's hard. You want to get the yes. You got to stay stoic. You got to say, well, all I could do is interview. I did very good on the interviews. Like I said, the VP loved me. The CFO loved me. They passed me on to the hiring manager. I don't know what his feedback was, but if I'm still in the running, it must be good. And then I don't know what we're waiting for. So I think that's it. I won't get too much into anything else right now. There's always one thing I like to quickly talk about is going to be the medium of exchange is what everybody wants. And that's going to be the whole thing here. So BRICS is coming out with gold-backed currency, I guess October or somewhere, and we have the dollar. This is the medium. So the medium of exchange is I get paid in this, and I go and take it and I buy. I go buy a phone and I go buy a computer and I use this. And now we use that on a debit card or a credit card, but it doesn't mean that this is the medium of it's still paper, even though we're using it on electric with the debit or credit card. It's still this. So what needs to happen is we need to transfer from this to this. So this will be backed by gold. That's what needs to happen. The central banks are all communist, won't want that to happen because they lose control. See, gold is a self-regulating dollar. You can't fuck with it. You can't print it. You can't inflate it, which is printing. And that's why they don't want it, because they want to just shove $1 million in their pocket because all these mafias are so corrupt that's who's fucking the money up. And so that's really the problem. All we can do is be stoic and buy gold and silver, even though the derivatives are going down. We have to ignore it going, that's not the real price. We know the real price is much higher. So we're going to ignore this. Even the 2,300, I just said 2,307 for gold, we got to ignore that. That's not anywhere close to the real physical price. Why there's no physical price? See, they keep trying to tie it, like saying, well, if there's a physical shows very high, then nobody will want the dollar. And I don't buy that. I don't know that the gold price has anything to do with it. The dollar is the medium of exchange. If you stop fucking around with it, I'd still think you'd have demand for it. You just have it's another asset, like a house, like a Rolex, like a Mano card. Those values are high, but yet doesn't matter. So anyway, the medium of exchange is what everybody wants. It's the most marketable commodity. So everybody wants this, but as they find out they've been blindsided and lied to, and it's really not has the value, then they're going to go back to this for safe haven. And I know I can trust gold because you can't print it. You can't fuck with it, which is why they don't want it. It's got to be portable. It is. I can put it in my pocket. It's got to be scarce. Gold's very scarce, not the dollar. Divisible for small exchanges. This is 1/10 of an ounce, quarter ounce, half an ounce, an ounce. Fungible, the same, replaceable, yeah. So you can buy more gold. It looks exactly the same. Accepted everywhere. Everybody loves gold. I don't know where the stores might not be able to accept it because the government might not want to. But like I said, if I go to my barbecue place and I want to buy gold and I want to use silver to pay for the meal, he'll take it. And then durable gold is indestructible. So there's nothing more you need to know about that. So the problem is when you print too much, this loses value. You've printed too much of this. So as soon as you print too much, you lose value. It's gone. And value is determined by demand. If nobody wants it, all these countries de-dollarizing. 30 or 40 new countries just joined BRICS. I think it's 90 are going. They're having like a BRICS Olympics in Russia in October. Along with the BRICS summit, there'll be an Olympics. And all these countries are going to join BRICS because they want to get away from the dollar, because the U.S. is a bunch of idiots, with all these, well, if we lend you money, then you got to, sing and dance for us. And that's wrong. You should be happy to lend them money and charge them high interest rates. Hello. So that's the problem. Nobody wants us. We're a bunch of idiots. What are we going to have, a nuclear war now? Because what are we doing with Russia? We can't beat Russia. We don't have troops. If you listen to Douglas McGregor, We don't have troops. All we have nukes. Is that where you want to go? So it almost seems like they want to um, they want to nuke them because we can't win. We can't win this war. Well, we haven't sent any troops, and it's not really a war. But since we can't win, we'll probably nuke everything. And if we can't have it, you can't have it. I mean, Putin doesn't want war. Neither does China because it's bad for business. They're businessmen. So all they want, it's like The Godfather. They don't want a war. It's bad for business. So that's where you're at. And it's really terrible. But anyway, that's the point with gold. It should be the medium of exchange and everything runs smoothly. Instead of a dollar backed by the government's faith, I have this, which I don't need the fucking government. I have this. But because it's limited and it's accepted and it's gold and you can't print it, then everybody wants it. But that's what they don't want is gold. See, gold, you lose control of people. Nobody can control us if we have gold. But if we have this, they can because they won't give us it. And they keep, what are they doing? They're fucking everybody over because they're printing and printing and printing. Your dollar's worth a penny. You've lost 99% of the value of your dollar. You want to just keep trusting these idiots? And so you think, what? I mean, so they're screwing everybody with the dollar. But if I have gold, you can't screw me. You can't deflate it. I can never lose the value of this. And the value you're giving on COMEX is nowhere near what the real value is. So that's what we're trying to get to. So I don't want to go too in depth, but buy as much gold and silver as you can. Ignore the derivative prices. It's just contracts that are options, and you just got to ignore that gold's at 2,300 now. You've got to be able to look and go, well, yeah, but it's going to be 20,000. They can't stop it. All the BRICS is going to have a gold-backed currency. They're going to need a higher gold price. China's got a lot of gold. So that's really what you're at is all these. What's with this glass? I think I grabbed the wrong one. I broke my glass yesterday, and I think I grabbed the wrong one. This one has a funny taste to it. Anyway, so that's what we have, and I think that's about it. So we'll go through a couple of conferences, a show. So the big, it's too much to go through all of it. It's just too much. But I think, so the key you're looking for in football is the quarterback. He controls everything, and the defense. He controls everything. So if you have a good defense or if you have a bad defense, and then that goes back to the coach. Certain coaches coach defense, certain coaches coach offense. So Georgia, you're getting a big defense. Iowa State, even Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan. We're not sure because their coach left. Kansas City Chiefs. So you can see the good defensive teams in the league. San Francisco, and they tend to get to the Super Bowl and the championship games, and the ones that are not don't. It's as simple as that. So you're trying to look for key points of what to get. Anyway, I think that's it. www.teaserking.com. One thing that's really funny is I'll look at my results, and I see 25, 30 people watch here and there. And it's okay because I do it every day. So, I'm pretty much, here's where gold's at. Here's baseball every day. Well, that changes. Here's football every day. But sometimes I get like 200, 300 views. And I don't understand it. 25, 30, 35, 25, 200. No. So I'm looking at, is it the title? What is it that is getting me all these views? Because that's what I want is 300, 400. So I don't know, but I noticed that every once in a while I get like 300 views, but then, today I'll get 30, 35, which is fine. And, because you go down the road. So, a week later, people might watch it and now it's 50 or 60. And a few months later, it could be 80 or 90, especially my Super Bowl ones and the draft ones. I get a lot of views. The draft ones, I get a lot of views after. So, not worried about that. But anyway, so that's what's going on. So like I say, Daria, she's fine. She's enjoying her 2 days off. Still waiting on the meet. We're waiting for her mother to watch her daughter, I believe. I hope that's not the only alternative. I'm willing to fly there because I can now fly to Russia. I think she's scared of American in Russia. I'm saying, what are they going to do to me? I'm not going to break a law. I'm just going to go and visit you. So I don't know the big problem. So we're hoping for Serbia or maybe Turkey again, places we can both meet because she can't go to NATO. She can't go to Amsterdam, for example, or France or Italy. Any place I would go, she can't go there. So not sure. Um, these are it. So we got to wait for the mother to come from America to watch the daughter so she can leave the daughter with the mother so we can then go on vacation. She wants to go on vacation, but it's not as easy. And then people think it's a scam. And I'm like, it's not a scam, but we will have to meet soon. I'd say by the end of the summer, because then the daughter's back in school. And then don't tell me I got to wait till Christmas because I can't do that. I'm too, I'm ready to meet her already. We've had to wait because of the war. I couldn't fly to Russia. Now I can. So we will see. Anyway, that's about it. Have a good day. Hope you enjoyed. Again, www.teaserking.com if you want to get my email and email me questions or comments, or just wait for tomorrow. And everybody's welcome to leave comments, and it's fine. So have a good day, everybody. I hope you're well. And what's today? Thursday. So we're getting near the weekend again. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice one.